Hi folks, this is Nachiket signing in for today's topic up to lintel level based on physical site conditions. Remember, we are doing this presentation for low risk building and building built from scratch under the very prime phase, that is superstructure works. So this up to lintel level marks the beginning of superstructure works. So where we are going to begin, basically this entire beginning starts from just a layout. Okay, so let's quickly dive into our slides. So what's our prime activity under this is layout. Once we place the plinth level or the plinth beam after the metalling works, when the floor finish works is over, this layout is again done to find out the partition wall column areas, means like the inside columns. Periphery are aligned, basically also vertically aligned. So majority of the work are basically done to spot out the mid columns. Okay, so the next activities under it is reinforcement. Basically what we do is we do the lapping part. So the vertical bars lapping is done in this particular activity stage. So once this column reinforcement is done, we do the shuttering work, align it, then we go for RCC casting. Then after fixing out all the columns, we go for mid brickworks. So here you can see the brickworks are being done in here, in between two gap columns. If it's partition walls, if it is periphery or the means the outer walls, all are concluded in this activity. Then comes the masters, that is sequence. So going after the sequence, I will repeat it once again. After the column casting, we go for brick wall. Then simultaneously we execute the staircase work as well up to mid landing, then up to the lintel level part, but that is concluded in the up to roof level. Again, after the staircase work is done, we conclude this brick work. Then various sill level brickwork is concluded. Then up to concluding this brickwork up to the lintel level, we go out for casting of all the lintel beam areas. Okay, so it includes chaja, it includes loft, it includes the lintel bend as well. Okay, so understanding the various layouts. Okay, so let's understand. So here basically we are going after the column layout, then we are going for the brickwork layout. In case of brickwork layout, we check the drawing based on the reference drawing or the blueprints. We align the various brickworks with the columns, or based on the your actual measurements. These layouts are fixed. Okay, somewhere you will be finding out 5-inch partition wall, somewhere you will be finding out 10-inch wall. So there will be different thickness of walls, so which will be concluded in the brickwork layout. Okay, then there is an important staircase layout, then sill band layout, under which window sill projection is checked and kitchen countertop is done. Then lintel band layout includes the window projection in lintel level, and also includes various low roof loft that is used basically for storing purpose in height. Okay, and it also includes the lintel band itself. Okay, so going on this, here one important blueprint reference needs to be checked, that is the door and windows layout. So there is a door and window schedule which needs to be followed. So let's understand what are the key notes or the various integral or important points that needs to be touched while understanding door and window schedule. Okay, so number one is index. You need to follow the index, which includes the various symbols for windows and doors, maybe in form of elevation or in form of plan. Okay, both are represented in index. Then you need to understand the various dimensions and size. This is quite important. In every drawing the dimension are mentioned, so you need to check that out. And door and window type description is also given, like whether it is sliding windows or it is casement type windows, if it is double door system or it is single door system, single casement door system, whether it's ventilator, everything type description is given in the schedule. Okay, then a clear opening size, it is very important, because door and window pattern works with basically a frame and hinge model. So you have a frame part, so many a times people get confused with the clear opening size, which may create a major issue. So you need to understand that. Under that also you need to understand the sill top level as well. Okay, sill top level, that is also important, because in case of kitchen areas the sill top level will be different. In case of bedrooms and other rooms, the sill top level will be different. So it is also carry a very important part in door and window schedule. Okay, the next is alignment. Alignment is quite important. You need to check out the master drawing in which the measurements are given. So from what distance the door and windows are kept, you need to understand that alignment, whether it's flush to the wall surface, outer wall, or it's to the inner wall, or it is in the mid. You need to understand in the alignment part. Okay, so next go to the lintel band layout. This is also quite important. This is a reference drawing for a lintel band layout. You can see here green color hatch marks given. This is light green, this is bit dark green. So in here the various keynotes includes the hatch representation. You can see here index has been given, so this hatch representation is quite important. The next is dimensions. The next is the RCC thickness. It is also quite important. What will be the thickness of these slabs? These are loft, and these are basically the low roof loft. Okay, means here two times, in lintel level one roof will be casted, and again in the roof level another slab will be casted, so we call this low roof. And these are various lofts, you can see, for kept for storage purpose. Even these are also used for storage purpose. These are outer projection. Okay, so hatch representation and RCC thickness is quite important in case of lintel band layout. The next is projection. I said projection. In many times what happen is we have very less offset out here, so sometimes you cannot means project it so long that it should not, the rainwater should not fall in your neighbor's boundary part. Okay, so sometimes we need to be careful about this very physical aspect of building. Maybe it is not covered in the drawing, otherwise it should be also covered in the planning part as well. The water from the charger should repel in your boundary area, otherwise your neighbor may complain regarding that. It happens many times in our practical site aspects. Okay, the next is the alignment of various portions. These alignments are quite important. Sometimes if you don't check the alignment properly, it may create a mismatch in the physical aspect of work. Okay, the next is one of the most important, staircase layout. We're going to cover this staircase layout in another proper video of this, but still let's understand the blueprint reference, in which you can see here one X and XX section has been cut over here in this particular floor plan. Okay, so this is a sectional staircase drawing which covers the important aspect of tread and riser system. So here you can see a hook or ring based cantilever staircase work. wherever you see this look aesthetic though, but now in frame structure work we have a very different kind of aspect. As you can see, this is a west slab kind of thing, means you will be finding it out straight, not like this zigzag. Okay, so you will be finding out straight. So this is a modern kind of staircase work in where the west slab is constructed nowadays, and this is part of your frame structure. Okay, but in this case it is a cantilever structure. So the plan, in the plan you will find out the keynote that you need to understand. You can see here R represents risers and tread represent this one. Okay, so this width is 10.5 inches, and riser is 5 inch, means this one. Okay, this one is 5 inch, the riser part. So you can understand the you need to reach the top of the floor finish level of the first floor. Okay, so in here you need to understand how many risers will be there. Many a times drawing aspect is bit different, and there are chances of underestimating the drawing and concluding with certain wrong activities at site. We'll also understand the reinforcement detail on this. This is a west slab based reinforcement. I said you that this particular slab will rest upon the beam, the very beam on which the landing part where the staircase will land. Okay, so there we have a beam, so this west slab will rest on that beam. Okay, so in here you will be finding out straight reinforcements are taken, and these are the various cross-sectional reinforcement that is given. So here you have 8 mm rod at 6 inch center to center distance, so spacing is 6 inches. Okay, and then we have 10T at 4 inches center to center. So this is the top part. Okay, so this drawing represents the staircase west slab. Okay, next is the ring type staircase reinforcement detailing, in which this is basically, I said you before, this ring type is covered in case of cantilever kind of staircase. It is a traditional form of construction. It was being done in case of load bearing structures where we didn't have any frame structures. It does look aesthetic. Even now also certain customers also prefer this as well, but better and means maybe it is bit costly, but this is more proven than this kind of staircase. Okay, ring type staircase. In this you can find out these are the ring stirrups, hooked or crisscrossed across with a dowel kind of thing that will come from the brick wall of the 10 inch. Okay, so these points you can see, this is coming out from the 10 inch brick wall, and this will be a cantilever part overall. Okay, so next going on to our lintel level part. So you have a very quality points that you need to check out in case of up to lintel level. Okay, so the joint layout verification is very important, because these parts of the drawing are sometimes changed in on site by client. The reason is quite simple, because client see it in a different aspect. They doesn't plan for it, so this plan may come in the sense of urgency as well in sometimes. Okay, so in this case what happens is a joint layout verification is quite important. You need to understand the client that these are the things that we're going to do. If there is any additions or there is any subtractions, you need to be prepared to do it on site. Okay, then mark and shift levels as per scope. Up to lintel level, by going for this, the level is a very important aspect. So mark it on the columns or the column rods, and this will help you to fix the lintel level at proper level, because after this you have very small space left to rectify the levels. Okay, then next is maintain sequence of activities in this particular part. Then scope versus on-site changes and additions. I said you before in point number 1, this joint layout verification helps you to understand the scope and on-site changes and additions by the customer. Then loop versus cut piece. Many a times there is a confusion with the customer, but even though after getting the structural drawing also, we are confused about whether we should go for a loop based means complete ring based lintel band, or we should go for a cut piece kind of thing. It depends upon the earthquake zone on which the structural designer designs the lintel loop part. But there is a confusion still. If if the customer wants or desires to have a complete loop of lintel band, then go for it. So that confusion needs to be taken care of during the time of planning. Okay. The next is projection dilemma rectification. Again, I said you before, many a times these projections, if in the case of drawing, many a times what happen is we stand in a standard, we go for 20 inches, okay, 20 inches or 24 inches. But thing is that if people just keep, if we have an offset from the boundary wall is just 24 inch, that is 2 feet, then what will happen if it is suppose 1.5 feet, then what will happen is this projection will go to your neighbor's plot area, which is not acceptable by your neighbor. So they may complain, and if you have done it, you are going to again rework it, you have to break it again. So be very cautious about that. Keep it inside your boundary wall system. Okay, so never ever cross the boundary, or even don't even touch the boundary. Keep at least 5 inches space from the boundary, okay, gap from the boundary, so that the water spills from here, it will fall in your boundary area, and you will be having a proper drainage system to take care of the fall off or the runoff. Okay, the next is add exterior attributes timely. This is quite important, as in brickworks, if you have any exterior attributes, like you have any projection in the brickwork, then that needs to be taken care of during this particular level. Okay, so check the 3D references as well, the elevation reference, and also the plan. Sometimes in the drawing this has been not shown, but if you are finding it out in elevation, then say it or convey it to the drawing or architect, so that they can make a timely changes and help it to find out, okay, and get the right drawings for you. Then point number 8, provide dangia holes at every 2.5 feet height. Dangia holes are quite common, that is kept to basically for scaffolding works. Okay, it helps to create a lateral safety kind of items while you are work on height, basically the outer plaster part. For that scaffolding, you need to have dangia holes. Even in the internal part also, whenever you are working on height or ceiling plaster, you need dangia holes to rest the lateral loads of your working platform. Okay, I'll explain this in next session. Okay, so what are the various safety that needs to be taken care of while going for in case of lintel up to lintel level works? So here you need to have PPs, a must. Then after this superstructure work starts, you need to be very careful, and you can start working upon the signages. Okay, you can start pasting signages at your site, so that the various construction safety points are displayed properly. Like you have safety tags for scaffolding incomplete, do not use. These tags are basically used. Then be careful about tripping hazard. There's a construction site, you need to be always careful for that. And be careful of bare nails. This basically hurts the entire motivation of work. Okay, because whenever such accidents happen due to nails, these are very critical, and sometimes due to these saw blades, you have severe amputations cases out here. So you need to be very careful about unguarded saw blade operations. Even it is guarded, still be careful while working on such kind of chop saw machines. Okay, then fall from height. This is a new addition to your existing safety rules, because once you start working on superstructures, there is always a fear of fall from height, because fall from height basically describes a area when you are working on above 3 feet height. Okay, so this gives you the basic caution to work carefully. Okay, the next, be careful about the various heavy machinery under operations. It's not always backhoe excavator though, it's even hiva or any kind of trucks which are basically used to unload the raw materials at site. Even that includes even millers or RMC or your ready mix concrete operations. Even there also you need to be very careful while not remaining there. You keep a distance from such heavy machineries. Okay, so here you need to understand the scaffolding safety rules. Okay, so here is a critical form of manual that you need to follow. So what are the keynotes? Ensure workers are properly trained while preparing this scaffolding work. Then take the time for prep work, like you can have a pep talk, you can have a preparation how you will be going to install this scaffolding materials. Okay, it can be bamboo, it can be coplock systems, it can be various modern tower system that is used for scaffolding purpose. Okay, then always keep it legal. How legal you can keep it? You can tag the scaffoldings basically, and always know and respect the load capacity. Do not have monkey jumping over inside, do not give more load over in the scaffoldings. Then ensure the scaffold is properly secured, like the ropes, they are not faulty, they should be well clear from burst cage, and it should be very clear, and it should be stout and strong so that it holds the joints of scaffolding materials properly. Okay, then use guardrails. This is also quite important, helps you to fix the safety belt. Then inspect and maintain the scaffolding every time. If you find out any fault, then repair it. Then always keep good housekeeping at your site. Then keep your balance every time. Use safety belts, that is the most important thing, which includes the last and final point, that is use appropriate PPs like safety belt. And even belts are of different types, so which kind of belts are best for your scaffolding part, be clear about that. Okay, so thank you, and see you in the next video, that is up next, up to roof level under substructure superstructure works.